VacMaster Chef Eric Villegas here, Paella Sous Vide, and they said it couldn't be done. So let's go ahead and start right in with making the base a salmora. This is a wonderful flavoring base that can be used in anything. And basically what you're doing is you're making your own tomato paste. So in a heavy bottom skillet, I'm adding some garlic oil and a whole can of high quality plum tomatoes. And to that, a little bit of chipotle chilies that have been packed in adobo. Some of that adobo sauce in there as well gives it a wonderful smoky yet hot, spicy kind of flavor. Not too hot, but if you want to add more, you can make it as hot as you want. And then additionally, I'm adding a big old hunk, a big old spoonful or couple spoonfuls of my favorite roasted garlic that I cook sous vide about 12 or 24 hours. And it just has all that wonderful garlic flavor with none of the bitterness. And to that, a little bit of paprika. Then over a medium heat, you just want to stir all that together, get all those flavors blended, and then my Lake Effect seasoning. Now you could use any seasoning you want here, but I prefer to use my Lake Effect because that's kind of flavoring the whole paella, but anyone will be fine. And then there is some maple sugar in the Lake Effect, and I'm adding just a little bit more to counteract maybe some of the heat. And you can see now it's been cooking for a while, and you see how thick it is? We've actually made tomato paste, or salmora, for our paella. So let's go ahead and start assembling our paella. In a heavy bottom paella pan or similar skillet, a bunch of garlic oil, and let's start searing off our sous vide cooked products. Our chicken, our octopus, and our shrimp. All three of those cooked separately, heavily seasoned with the Lake Effect, and just seared on both sides to get great color. That's all we need. We don't need to cook any more since it's already perfectly cooked. We just want to get the perfect sear. Then remove all the proteins, lightly tented with foil, and hold them. Now, in the same skillet, we're going to start with the rice. But first thing, the salmora. That's going to be toasting in the skillet with a lot more roasted garlic puree and all the flavors that came after the chicken, the shrimp, and the octopus were seared, a little bit of olive oil, and now the rice. This is bomba rice. This is native to Valencia, where paella originated, but if you couldn't find that, any short grain rice, like a sushi rice, would work very well. Now you just want to stir. You want to toast that rice. You want to pick up all the flavorings from the bottom of the skillet. You want to toast that salmora. You want to get all those flavors enriched in the rice. Now I've got my stock. This can be completely chicken stock, or it can be half chicken stock and half all those wonderful flavors that you got out of the bags as the proteins were cooking. Adding some saffron to that, and then go ahead and pouring it in the toasted rice. This is the key point. You want to get that broth cooking. You want to move that rice around, and right when it starts to really thicken, you can kind of see it, and the bubbles, add a little bit more Lake Effect, and just let it cook. And about 20 to 30 minutes later, you can see the rice peeking up. It looks wonderful. You start adding now the chicken thighs, the brown side up, the octopus, those wonderful tentacles, nestle those in between the chicken thighs. And then, of course, you can't forget the shrimp. So go ahead and start putting the shrimp in any artistic fashion that you wish. But keep in mind, the rice is ready. All we're doing is gently heating up our room temperature proteins that have already been seared. And the final touch, other than a copious amount of lemon juice and maybe some more spice to finish, are the emeralds, are the green peas. I prefer to use frozen peas. If you can get fresh and seasoned, that's great. But frozen peas at this point, right over the top, the residual heat from the pan is going to take care of everything. I'm just shaking it up a little bit just to make sure everything's good. That final dusting of Lake Effect. And then, of course, lemons, limes, whichever you have, and then cover it with the cloth. Are you ready? This is my Lake Effect paella. Check it out. Oh, look at that. So why was the cloth over it? Because historically, that's what you want to do. When you're done cooking, you lay a clean linen cloth over it, let it sit off the heat 5-10 minutes for the rice to absorb the final luscious, delicious juices and everything to homogeneously come together. We've got the chicken and we've got the shrimp and we've got the octopi. So let's try one. Oh, look at the rice. Oh man. Actually, I'm gonna have the rice first. Look at that. Look at that. the sabors, the flavor. That's why paella is truly a rice dish, because it's almost like all these wonderful proteins give life to the rice, give sabor to the rice, give flavor to the rice. It's absolutely delicious. Let's just grab one of these shrimpies. Cooked sous vide, liberally dusted in Lake Effect. Juicy, crunchy, not like the shriveled up dried shrimps I've had before in many paellas over the generations. This is absolutely delicious. My sous vide version of Lake Effect paella.